everybody, and welcome to the Fandom Flux. Oh god, this is weird. Okay. This is even worse when it's something I've done like 100 times. Welcome to the Fandom Flux podcast, episode 185. I'm Casey. Hi. Had to change up my recording setup a little bit, so now I have a very slight delayed echo in my ears, so if I sound like I'm a little drowsy or on some sort of, let's say, medication, it's a little disorienting, so I apologize in advance. So with us this week we have Weasel.
Hi there.
Smoking.
Hey.
Zero.
Hello.
Patient.
Hello, everyone.
Zero has things going on around him, so I very much appreciate the muting his mic when he's not talking. So, thanks, dude. I've been so busy trying to fix audio shows that I've completely forgotten what the show is about. Then I remembered. This show is about nothing. So what the hell has everyone been doing?
Well, the reason I was absent from the podcast last week was, so about a month and a half ago, I helped my mom with cleaning a bunch of, climbing vines away from mother's house, like ripping them off the walls and such. Now, I didn't expect this to result in anything because I've literally waded waist deep through poison oak before, poison ivy, and had nothing happen. And it seemed until about 2 weeks ago that nothing was going to happen. Then I got a small cut along my right leg, and I suppose some of the whatever the oil is that irritates your skin got onto my bed sheets and transferred into that cut, because within 2 days of that cut, I had the first case of poison creeper rash that I've had in my life. Covered most of my right leg, both of my hands, and several large patches on my torso. So I was absent from podcast last week because the pills that I was given to try and help fight that off made me incredibly drowsy. Been getting back into Starbound, which is always amusing. Been keeping track.
It's a weird game. Like, I've tried playing it a couple of times. Like, I think on first release I tried playing it when there was basically no tutorial and it was unbalanced as hell. And
there's still barely a tutorial and it's still unbalanced as hell.
Yeah, I tried it a few months ago. Not that much has functionally changed unless you're willing to wade through learning how to play the game.
It's got a bit of a learning curve.
A
little bit. Let's see what else. I tried Saints Row 4. Remembered why I don't play Saints Row 4 anymore.
Why?
Because it has no fucking replay value.
Yeah, kinda.
I mean, it was amazing and a perfect conclusion to the Saints Row genre, and I salute it with the biggest and floppiest dildo sword available, but it really doesn't have any replay value at all.
No.
Got really big into Stellaris for a while. The Utopia update is phenomenal. I've been trying out Alpha Mod there a little bit.
I don't know what any of that is.
Stellaris is a pseudo RTS. I guess you'd call it an RTS, but it's not really. It's not really an RTS as such. It's like it's like a cross between a traditional real-time strategy game and a 4X game like Civilization. You play a newly emerged galactic civilization, exploring the universe, expanding, forming alliances, and settling new stars. It's highly interesting. And been keeping up with my version of daytime TV entertainment, which is, at this point, United States politics. And that's all I'm going to say on that topic, because I'm sure that's a contentious thing to say.
I don't know whether either side can really deny the fact that American politics has become something of
a circus.
That's...
I was gonna say like Jeremy Kyle, but you don't have that show. Springer. That was it. Springer.
I think circus really is the most appropriate word to describe that clown car of a disaster movie.
He was looking for more of a simile than a metaphor.
Okay. Yeah, it's basically like one of those talk shows where there's a he said, she said thing going on constantly and both sides are lying about just about everything. Yeah, it's one of those.
But, and I managed to pick up on sale at Costco, which if you have one in your area, you should totally get a membership to because they are amazing. A 30-pack of Mountain Dew cans for $9. Delicious.
I'm immune to caffeine.
No one's immune to caffeine. It doesn't work that way. Some people just don't have the same way as other people.
Some people actually get the opposite effect from caffeine. I think particularly people who have ADHD tend to have that.
Yeah, I have ADHD.
So that is a thing.
I'm not immune. I kind of have a delayed reaction to it, if anything.
I have a significantly reduced reaction. Like, I slam back one of those 5-hour energy extra strength shots, the ones that are supposed to be for really big guys, and that lasts maybe an hour on a good day.
I used to get those. I would drink one and be able to immediately fall asleep. And then I would wake up about 3 hours later and be jazzed as hell.
Yeah, that's the thing that they don't tend to advertise. Stuff like coffee and Mountain Dew, when you're drinking it at a lower rate, it can absorb into your system a lot more easily. So if you've got the stuff like the energy shot, where you take it all in at the same time, it's gonna take a while for that to fully kick in.
I hate those things, by the way. Just want to mention. Yeah, they're terrible. Tastes god awful.
Yeah.
Depends on the flavor. I agree that some of them are, but the ones that I buy are, it's a mixed pack of the classic berry flavor, which is the one that's kind of disgusting. The grape ones, which are the ones that are really disgusting.
Oh god, those ones were the one. That's probably why I hate them, just because I don't think I could get any other ones.
And pomegranate, which is actually really good. It actually tastes like pomegranates.
I don't think I have ever tried anything pomegranate.
I would recommend it. It's really good, actually. My mother really likes it, and when I tried it, it's a nice zero.
We're getting Nick
Yeah,
as
trying to see what's happening here. Sorry. I was gonna just chime in and say, screw pomegranate.
fuck you.
Now, I wouldn't say that. It's a nice blend of sweetness and tartness.
I would say you should try something that's got pomegranate in it, or try a fresh pomegranate, but do not try pomegranate juice.
What about pomegranate soda?
That exists.
That exists.
Yeah,
My mother really likes it.
I've tried it. I've tried pomegranate soda. I've tried Pom Wonderful, and whatever the process is for getting that juice, it just doesn't have the same flavor profile as the actual meat of the pomegranate plant fruit. It's got this like weirdly almost bitter aftertaste to it.
We've talked about pomegranates enough at this point. I think it can go in the link dump. I think that's fine. Zero.
It's a bit weird.
Casey is making a link dump for the description, and he just added pomegranate into that. Zero replied, "Really, Casey?"
Really?
Really? I'm trying to be less discerning when it comes to the link dump. Just
Well, pomegranate, you're succeeding.
yeah.
Okay. So, who was talking?
I was just finishing up, actually.
Hmm.
Like, I've managed to get my leg pretty much cleared up. I got my torso pretty much cleared up. My hands were fine within a couple of days. I've got my Mountain Dew. I've got my games. I've found a couple of really bizarre and fascinating stories that I can neither talk about nor link here because all of them are incredibly not safe for work. And that's pretty much been my 2 weeks.
Fair enough. I'll go next. I guess I don't have much. What do I have? Trying to fix my weird audio issues for one, because yeah, that's been annoying. I'm sure listeners have noticed the fuzz on my microphone, and yeah, that's not my microphone, that's shadow play, and that's a pain in the ass because that's the thing I used to record, so I can't use that anymore. Yeah. Oh well. So I read an article. I talk about this guy a lot, Shamus Young, video games analyst. Did like a Mass Effect 3 thing. He did a Batman Arkham City thing. Just writes a bunch of articles and decides to forego the whole video format that everyone and their dog uses nowadays. And he started doing one on Borderlands. And weirdly enough, he wrote an article about the Borderlands 2 loot system.
Oh.
And how much of a skinner box it is. And how incredibly good and well designed it is for getting people to continue playing.
I would love to see this article.
It's a great article, but it
I've
also
seen a lot
made me really want to play Borderlands 2 again.
To be fair, that's not an unusual reaction to any news regarding Borderlands, because it was Borderlands 2. It was by far the best game in that trio.
Yeah, but
what's this?
It's an article about. It's literally telling me exactly how Borderlands manipulates you into continuing to play it and buying into the loot system forever and ever and ever.
And I love stuff like that.
And my reaction to it is, please manipulate me more. I want more now.
Okay, I'm going to say this. Welcome to an MMO.
Oh, yeah.
That's their business model.
Yeah. So to answer the question, I think you were asking about a Skinner box, Weasel. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, what's that? Yeah.
It was a psychological proof, I think. Basically, scientist named Skinner puts a rat in a box, and in the box is a button that will sometimes, like 1 in 20 times, provide food. And he theorized that if the button gives food every time, then the rat will only push the button when it's hungry. But if the button only sometimes provides food, then the rat will continue to press the button even when it's not hungry. Because when it is hungry, well, what if it doesn't provide food right away? So I should keep pressing it so I can make sure, is the logic. It's basically the kind of psychological manipulation that the idea is it tricks the brain into thinking you have just done a good thing, so you need to figure out how that good thing happens so you can do it that way every time. But the thing is, there is no way to make sure it happens every time. So the brain will compel you to keep trying until you figure it out, even though there's no way to do so. So you keep trying forever and ever and ever. It's basically the thing behind every gambling system.
And pretty much every MMO.
Yeah. Like, every now and again, something super great will happen. So the brain thinks there has to be a reason for this, because that's how the brain works. Good things happen, so find a way to make a good thing happen again. It's how you improve your skills. Like, every time you do something well, the brain gives you a hit of dopamine. So, as a reward for doing something well, so you'll do something well again. And in systems where there is no way to fix that and, improve and do it well more often, it just keeps you in a loop.
Huh. Funny story about Borderlands development.
What the? Continue.
What was the siren from the first game's name again?
Lilith.
Lilith was originally going to be a dude.
Yeah, I can see why they didn't go with that.
It was really... Well, yes, it would make all the main characters male, like in Team Fortress, but the reason they gender swapped him was that his personality didn't test well with the beta testers. So they just gender swapped him. Voila. People liked him. Or her.
That's quite possibly the weakest reason to have a main female character in a game.
Yeah.
What? I just got back at the tail end of this.
Lilith was originally a dude, the siren from the first game, but testers apparently didn't like the personality, so they just gender swapped them instead of changing anything else.
Yeah.
To be fair, it would have been an easy and fairly quick thing to do.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think, would the personality have been the same? Like, Lilith was intended to be let's say, somewhat seductive in the original Borderlands. So
I'll be
would
honest,
that have
with some of
been?
the stuff with some of the stuff that Lilith says, if they just changed the gender and none of the lines, the original character probably would have come off as something of a flamboyant homosexual.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering right now.
I'm not entirely sure, actually.
And let's be honest, that role in Borderlands is already filled by Claptrap.
I like Claptrap.
That puts you in actually probably the majority, but
You're not
people
supposed
want
to, but people do.
Claptrap is one of those I love to hate him characters.
I'm sorry, Claptrap from what?
Borderlands.
Yeah.
Okay. Because the only Claptrap I know is from the Donkey Kong series.
That's a good
Claptrap
one.
is
That's a nice point.
basically, in the first game, he's an annoying piece of shit that will constantly do annoying lines over and over and over again until you want to destroy him.
And in the second game, he's an annoying piece of shit that constantly does annoying lines and is also somewhat useful to the plot.
And also portrayed as the most pathetic loser in existence.
He was also portrayed as that in the first game, let's be fair.
Kind of.
Claptrap has been a butt monkey almost literally from minute one.
But they kind of turned it up to 11, so to speak, for the second game, where he has his own private, I think it was a birthday party. And he has you go around inviting people, and everyone says, no. So you go to the party, and it's just him with a dozen pizza boxes, and he's just still being his upbeat Claptrap self. Like, yeah, this is a great party, right? Just you and me hanging out.
Also, it is possible to deliberately leave him hanging on a high five, and he sounds so adorably dejected over it.
Yeah. And then at the end, he's so gung-ho about helping you get to the final boss and everything.
You killed my friends! You destroyed my product line! I am the last Claptrap in existence, and I am going to teabag your corpse!
And then the door he's opening, because that's basically his role, it opens, and there's stairs.
No!
He is a robot that is just a robot on a single tire, on a wheel. That's his mode of transportation.
He cannot climb stairs.
Nope.
He had a stair climbing module installed for the pre-sequel, and then it got ripped out of him.
Yeah. Well, Claptrap. I love that little guy.
Why don't you just carry him up the stairs?
Because
It's
that
heavy.
wouldn't be
Okay.
That shit's heavy, and everybody in universe hates Claptrap, so no one was willing to do it. Yeah, I love that game. I'm eagerly awaiting the next one that is not a piece of shit like pre-sequel. Well, that's harsh, but it wasn't very
To
good.
be fair, the gameplay in pre-sequel was actually pretty good. They just made a mistake in that they didn't realize what people liked about Borderlands, which was the fairly good looting system, the mostly silent protagonists, the excellent skills, and the pitch black humor in the missions, and they thought that it was the occasional and repetitive quips. The biggest mistake they made in pre-sequel was voicing the player character.
Yeah, kind of. Oh well. Here's hoping for the next one. That's pretty much my week. Yeah, I reinstalled Borderlands 2. Have yet to play it, but I reinstalled it.
Have you got the DLC?
At some point, I have to play Borderlands and actually play it because I have Borderlands 1, but I
Here's my recommendation.
never got to follow it.
Don't play Borderlands 1, is my recommendation.
God, don't.
Okay. Borderlands 2, I just haven't had time.
Hero. This ain't no place for no.
Yep.
Anyway, so yeah.
Anyway,
that was my
I think there's also one particular reason that the pre-sequel was worse than Borderlands 2 in every possible way. The Flexington family did not at any point appear.
That's also true. In fairness, they didn't appear in the first game until the DLC, but yeah.
And it's Mr. Torg, high five Flexington.
Yeah, but Borderlands 2 was also good without him. Like, I'm not arguing that Mr. Torg doesn't make literally everything better, but
to be fair, Mr. Torg did appear in Borderlands 2. Just more in the DLC.
I think the best fan thing for Borderlands I ever saw was I think it was a Mass Effect and Borderlands crossover, and they had a scene with Mr. Torg building his new headquarters on Ilium.
Yes.
And he builds it in the shape of a giant middle finger.
No, it's better. He built an additional 10 floors on top of the building and didn't tell anyone what they were for until the building was opened, at which point he pressed a button and the top 10 floors exploded in the shape of a giant middle finger aimed towards the Hyperion offices.
So you read it then?
Because that is how Torg Erdnot does business, motherfuckers.
Yeah. It's always nice when a fan just gets the writing. Right? So who's next?
Well, the dust seems to have settled, so I can try, I guess. So I bought Splatoon 2 that came out the other day. I haven't had much of a chance to play it, but boy, is that game I'm getting that same the thing about Splatoon 2, or Splatoon as a series. You're supposed to cover most of the ground with as much ink as possible. That's the basic mode. You should play through that to unlock eventually the ability to go into ranked and do the other modes. But you start off and you have your home base, which the enemy can't actually get into, so you cover that with ink just as a start, and then you fight over the middle area usually. And so you have a bunch of new players who decide, you know what, I'm just gonna run straight towards the enemy and play this like a regular shooter. It's a bit irritating.
So you're basically squid people, right?
Yeah. And I'm running around the home base and covering it in ink because we need to cover the most territory, and everybody else is running towards the enemy instead of doing what the game is about.
So you're covering everything in your own shit?
No, vomit.
Okay.
No. You have your ink guns, you cover everything in ink, and you can swim through your own ink and, hide in it and refill your ink in your ink.
Guns, Zero.
Yeah. So the enemy also has their color ink, and you can't really move through that
Wait,
ink, and it hurts
isn't
you.
it basically paint, not ink? Like I remember
What?
both watching a review for this game and seeing previews for this is Splatoon, right?
You cut out.
Yes.
What was that?
We were talking about Splatoon.
Yeah. Isn't it paint instead of ink?
Everybody calls it ink, but it's basically kind of paint, I guess. I mean, the squids are made of ink, and so it's like, if you ever played Mario Sunshine, imagine a post-apocalyptic version of that, and you have Splatoon.
This is post-apocalyptic?
Yes, it is actually. It's set. The game series is set basically 10,000 years in the future, I think. There's some lore for this
Where the
series.
world
There was an
been-
apocalypse that happened.
And the world was taken over by squid people.
Yeah, and there's rising tides, and they die in water. So they battle with the Octarians for survival as to who gets the surface.
Squid
They don't-
people.
They don't so much
Yeah.
die in the water as they just can't go into the water.
Yeah, they
Squid
can't exist
people-
in the water.
Die in water.
They're made of ink. That's why. Splatoon is weird, and it has some really crazy lore, but it's a lot of fun.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hey,
I mean,
Zero, you remember you were talking about how great the voice chat was going to be last week?
I never said anything about how great the voice chat was. What are you talking about?
Okay.
Like, if you're gonna play Splatoon and you're going to do any sort of voice chat, which that game doesn't even need voice chat to begin with, but if
The
you're
whole
gonna play
running
Splatoon,
towards the enemy thing would argue otherwise, but sure.
yeah, that would help. That would help. Yeah, but like at the same time, you have a lot of kids and a lot of adults on there, and I don't want. Like, I understand the decision to not endorse voice chat and to make it so complicated to get to, but I really hate how they're handling voice chat with that whole app thing. It's still in beta, but it's bad. That's why Discord exists, though. So
I'm still looking forward to when they add video chat to Discord.
yeah, me too. So I can just abandon Skype completely.
Exactly.
Mm.
God, I cannot wait. Then I
so-
can
Screen share would be good too.
Yeah, screen sharing is what I really need. But
Screen share
Skype then added the ability to share sounds, so it's weird.
Skype. If I can finagle a way, once Discord has updated sufficiently to just shut Skype down and keep it shut down, I will have freed up just that little bit more processing space on my computer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also got away from one of the 3 most annoying people in the world.
Alex?
What?
Alex?
No.
Oh.
Anyway.
Alex doesn't even make the top 50 for me.
Oh.
Anyway, I also, I decided to play through some of the games that I have acquired. One of which was it was a visual novel called Lucy, the Eternity She Wished For. It was about a robot android girl, and it made me really sad, and I cried. And then I played through it, and I unlocked another thing, and I cried again. Cried a lot. It's very good. It's not like anything revolutionary, but it hit me right in the Kokoro, so that's fine.
I'm gonna assume that was a reference.
Yeah, right
It's
in the
written the
heart.
Kokoro as a meme.
Yeah. It was, yeah, I liked it. It was, like, it's not, like I said, it's nothing extremely new or original, but the way it was told, it had a lot of heart, and it made me cry. On the other end of the
what was that?
spectrum,
I forgot
what?
to
It
hear
was Lucy, the Eternity She Wished For. On the other end of the spectrum, me me and my friends like to kind of stream over Skype because you can now share sounds and everything on there. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to show you guys some Sakura Spirit.
Oh God, why would you do that to them?
I bought that game 3 years ago, and then because I was curious, and then I skipped. I was trying to skip to the first choice in that game. There's only one choice in that game.
It's a soccer game. What do you expect?
It's a visual novel with one choice. My playtime was 11 minutes.
So, on that topic, my parents are out of town for the weekend, so I've got a bunch of shit that I need to handle around the house, which is mainly the reason I took the initiative to go first this week.
Okay.
Oh. Okay.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I kind of want to get this shit done before it gets to the hottest part of the day.
Okay.
So, I guess.
Fair enough.
Okay.
So, to keep going on, so what I was doing was I mentioned this on stream, but we looked at Sakura Spirit, and I kept print screening, like just taking screenshots and then opening it up in Paint. And boy, was that a lot of fun, making all sorts of weird, crazy meme stuff or whatever. I had a lot of just good time. Let's see, tomorrow I'm going to Florida, as I mentioned before, so everybody's packing. Really, kind of not too much of has happened, not too much of a week. Just kind of been, I guess, relaxed and playing some games.
I actually forgot something. I bought a new game. It's called The End is Nigh. It's made by the same guy who made Super Meat Boy and Binding of Isaac.
Yeah, I heard it's basically slower Super Meat Boy.
It's Super Meat Boy with worse controls and none of the charm.
Yeah, I saw the trailer for it a while back, and I was like, this is bad.
It's not bad, it's just not good.
Mediocre.
It wasn't enough to make me want to spend my money and buy it.
It's mediocre, which is the worst thing it can be when the same guy has already made a better version of the game.
Yeah, that's always weird.
So yeah, that was disappointing. Oh well.
Yeah, there.
Weasel, you're...
Sorry, what?
What have you been doing?
Well, Dream Daddy came out, finally.
It did. Zero wants to let's play it.
I want to get everybody together, and we should all let's play it together.
You want to let's play a yaoi dating sim?
We should all do it together, and we should all play Dream Daddy.
You'd have to pay me for it, and a substantial amount too.
I just think it's going to be hilarious, to be honest. And that's. So
Well,
I want to get Kenshi in on this. I'm going to get Casey in on this. Let's get Slicer too. Weasel, you're free. Sure, why not? Let's have the whole party.
Well, it is filled with dad puns to the point that some of the game rooms got uncomfortable. I mean, this is directly
Didn't
from
they
their
make
Steam
it?
page. Yes. The Steam page says one of the features is dad puns, like to the point some of us got uncomfortable. They list that as one of the features. Also, Lucan has been playing the shit out of it. We were so hyped for it coming out that Lucan got a Steam card for it, and we were like, like it was gonna come out one day, but then it got delayed, and it was gonna come out a few days later, and it got delayed again. Damn that release.
Like, I don't know too much. I didn't follow it or anything, but as soon as that came out, everybody in my friend group, like on Discord, was like, "Oh, look at this game," and I'm like, "This is the game I need to make the other guys play."
You do realize I'd enjoy it because I'm into yaoi, right?
Oh, definitely. But I want Kenchi's reactions. And Casey's always there to be supportive. Right, Casey?
That's one word for it. Supportive like a dad's Speedo.
So kind of supportive, but in reality, not really.
Yeah, kind of.
Supportive, but extremely skimpy.
Yeah, it's a surprisingly apt metaphor.
Yes, darn it. What else you do, Weasel?
Well, 10 days ago, I went down to social services to turn in paperwork for my for research for my food stamps and public assistance. So they gave me some paperwork to fill out, and I called my clinic to schedule an appointment so that we could call Social Security. And it was for the 17th. You remember that appointment? It was you remember that appointment? I said I had to leave early, but then they rescheduled for the 20th, which at the 20th it was 3 days until the paperwork was due. So we called Social Security, and Casey just added Dream Daddy to the link dump, and Zero typed, "Yeah, that's right. You put that shit in the link dump."
Hi, Spoken.
And Spoken just said, "Fuck you, fuck yas." Unfortunately, Social Security cannot get me because I need an update on my SSI progress that I can send into social services. But unfortunately, Social Security cannot get me that update for another week. Well, from the 20th, or by now it's more like 5 days. And unfortunately, the paperwork, including that update, is due today. And 2 days ago, I called social services to see if I could get an extension, and my handler there acted all cagey and dodgy about it, didn't really answer it one way or the other. So I called later that day to ask about the extension again, no response. I called times, no response, and now it's due today, and it looks like I may starve.
You can survive.
I mean, I don't eat much, but I still need to eat.
I wish I'd be able to give advice for this, but this is very far outside my wheelhouse.
It's okay.
Yeah, I don't know what to exactly say, but I believe in you, and you'll have my prayers.
Thanks.
Mine as well. I'm sorry that I can't do more, Weasel. If anything comes up, I'll do what I can.
Thanks.
That's some dead air right there.
Other than that, I've been playing some more Corruption of Champions, which you will not be linking.
Nope.
You see, that game, I'm going to look it up now because you keep talking about it.
Zero, oh, you save your poor virgin eyes.
So, think of all the things that patient would approve the least of. all of the things.
This
That's
just
everything
looks
in the game.
Actually,
And then
Tanner's
some.
really into this game. Oh, patient. Okay.
Like
this
all of
looks
the things he
bad.
wouldn't approve of, and all of the things he doesn't know exists, and is happy about that.
Well, that's a character design. Oh my goodness.
What are
Yeah,
you
this
looking
is
at?
definitely not for me.
What are you looking at?
I don't want to link this. I don't want to show anybody this
No,
character
don't.
design. Yeah, this isn't for me, I would say.
Yeah, you think?
I'm just confused beyond belief right now.
I believe the term we're looking for here is schmuckbait.
Oh, also, Zero, that's now in your browser history forever.
I don't care about my browser history. My browser history is worse than that. Come on.
Are you sure? Are you really sure?
I'm like 99% sure.
Okay.
It's my laptop. Who cares? Or is government gonna knock on my door and say, "Hey, you're looking at weird porn-like things"? I'll be like, "Yeah, so is everybody else." They just hide it better.
I'm so sorry, patient.
Sorry about what? I'm not giving any details. I didn't even catch the name that you mentioned.
No, that we're talking about all this in front of
You're
you.
being extremely vague about it.
I'm trying to avoid giving any details, but yeah. No, it's. I should probably shame you for playing this game.
Oh, so you're a kink
Probably.
shamer.
Don't kink shame. I'm concerned how many times I'm telling Zero not to kink shame. Like, I think it's actually been 3 times in a week.
Really?
Hmm.
Oh, yeah. That's fun.
That is 3 times too many.
Come on, Zero. People do what they do. Don't judge.
There's a point where I think somebody has to judge. But whatever.
Alright, so is there more Weasel?
Nah. I
Okay.
think that's about it.
Patient?
Yeah. Nah, there's not much to remark on right now, really. Just enjoying a bit of downtime at home, looking for a more permanent job to get, in hopes that I'll be able to save up enough money for my immediate future goals. That I've been stuck on one level of Pikmin 3's mission mode for a long time now, and I keep trying to get the platinum rank on it without losing any Pikmin.
Oh, that's tough.
I mean, even if I abandoned the not losing any Pikmin part, this is ridiculously difficult.
Me and the Pikmin series have a bit of a weird history where I've never actually fully beaten a Pikmin game, but I've played 1 and 2. It's a tough game.
You've never beaten... I mean, Pikmin 1 isn't that hard.
Well,
Yeah,
Pikmin 1 I rented, so I had to return it, and I couldn't beat it in time.
That makes a lot more sense.
And
Pikmin
same
2
thing with Pikmin 2. I also rented that one, but I've never actually owned a Pikmin game long enough to beat it.
Well, you could buy both of them on Virtual Console if you've got a Wii U.
I have a Wii U. It's not hooked up anymore because I have a Switch.
Well, could you still get it? I don't have a Switch, so I don't know how it works.
At this point, it'd just be better to emulate them.
They reset the virtual console for every generation so that they can sell all the same games again.
They're working on, I guess, improving it. Like, I think now there's more of an actual count system, so you don't have to rebuy things. But yeah, as far as internet online stuff goes, Nintendo is like 10 steps behind.
It's kind of adorable, Zero, that you think Nintendo would ever implement a system where you don't have to buy the same games over and over again. That's like 70% of its business model.
Alright, so aside from that, I'm sort of replaying. I'm in the middle of filling out some of my Pokemon games. Hopefully going to beat Pokemon Stadium 2 for the first time ever. I've never gotten past... I've gotten to round 2 of it before, but I've never fully completed the game. It's just a lot of battles, pretty interesting strategy. I'm also trying to complete my Pokemon Platinum version for the first time. Once I've done that, once I've gotten to the point where I can use Palpar to transfer my team from Coliseum and finally evolve my the Piloswine that I use.
You're a little quiet, patient.
Pardon?
You're a little quiet.
Sorry about that. Catch up on the Pokemon games, yeah, and struggling with Pikmin 3, and oh yeah, the Crossbrain published the most recent chapter of its Bites the other day.
Yup. Read that. It was cool.
I'm saving it for a log reading for the Crossbrain.
I'm still in a weird position where I keep wanting to write, but I never have like enough time, especially because work picked up recently the past couple of weeks. And then, family always wants me to go watch a movie or sit down and watch TV or do something else. Like, case in point, I got Splatoon 2 and I've only played it for like an hour max since I got it yesterday.
Sorry, Zero.
Zero? How far into your degree are you?
My degree?
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting my BA probably next spring.
That might be why they're trying to spend more time with you.
No, I'm still going to be living at my house for a year after that, at least, because I have to get my teacher credential. And that requires me to work a year for free.
Ouch.
Yeah. So that's going to be taking up pretty much all my time. So,
holy shit!
Like it might get to the point where I might just, yeah,
Teachers
I know.
really do get fucked in our country. Yes.
Teachers don't get good treatment at all, but I'm doing it because I want to do it. So.
Yeah, same. Once I plan to go into special education.
Jesus, no wonder teachers like constantly fighting in this country for pay or whatever else. It's like they constantly have an example of how bad it could be just across the pond. And they're like, no, not that, anything but that.
I mean, there's been a lot of negative feedback about the appointed head of the Department of Education who's basically been rolling back a lot of benefits. No. Let's not get into a political talk, shall we?
Let's avoid politics. Let's just say being a teacher is tough, and in the worst case scenario, maybe in a year or two, I'll end up leaving the podcast.
Moving on. Now, what was I going to say? Aside from this bites, yeah, that's actually pretty much all the noteworthiness that I have right now. So that's everyone's what we're doing, if I'm correct. So do we just move to recommendations now, Casey, or does anyone else have anything to say?
Just looking at the time. Well, we're about 55 minutes, so I'd say, yeah, recommendations is a good place to go now. Anyone?
I've got one.
Good. Go on, Weasel.
Okay, I might have already recommended this one, but I can't remember. Don't think I did. This is Balance the Force, Book 1, The Gathering Storm, by Mage Oki 2. It's a Star Wars and a Ranma half crossover.
Okay.
And the story takes place after the mushroom storyline from Ranma half. This is the age reduction mushroom storyline, where Ryoga was returned to his regular age, but Ranma was not. And a Jedi Master arrives on Earth, specifically in Ranma's town, and finds that Ranma has really high Force ratings. And so adopts him, and he becomes a Padawan alongside Anakin. As in, like, book 1, as in, episode 1 era, Star Wars.
Okay.
Though it says book 1, but there is no book 2, and in fact, the author seems to have vanished off the face of the internet several years ago.
Yeah, they do that.
Yeah. Sometimes they go and get real jobs.
I miss him.
Well, sometimes they come back. I mean, Blua is an example. Oh,
So-
that reminds me, actually. There's another author who recently came back from an impromptu 2-year hiatus.
Yeah, but Mage Oki has been gone for about 10 years.
Ouch. Okay. Sorry.
So, I think I'm going to recommend, I know I mentioned it earlier, but Lucy, the attorney she wished for. It's
That's a fanfic?
no, it's a visual novel, and I'm going to recommend it because even though it's not fanfic, because I recommend you give it a shot. Because it's like the whole thing is like, so it's, a little bit in the future, we have androids now. Goes a little bit into sort of like androids and what they mean for society, but also it's more of a story about family than anything else. And I think that people will enjoy it if they give it a try.
Do they dream of Ampharos?
No, they don't dream of electric sheep. Thank you very much.
Remember Robo
Sort
Sheep
of.
from your Blaze Black run?
We had a Robo Sheep. And then we
Robo
didn't.
Sheep. Yeah, Robo Sheep died.
That was a pull.
That was a good one, though, Casey. That was a good one.
Yeah.
So
I have to wonder if Mareep's line is a reference to that, to the
it is.
into the novel.
They don't actually dream or anything, but they.
Well, they
I
do
just
actually.
found it.
Canon from Black 1 and 2. There's a whole dream thing. That's a thing.
I'm talking about the thing.
The
Oh.
android.
Yeah. It's a story that's, I guess, mainly about family, and it's interesting.
Do electric sheep dream of androids?
Electric Sheep. Yeah, I can't say it.
We should know what electric sheep dream of. I'm gonna look this up. It's probably on Wikipedia.
Electric sheep dream of.
Everyone dreams of electric sheep if they're in the Pokemon world. Think about
Electric sheep dream of electric sheep.
Oh, patient, really?
it. I stole that from the anime, actually.
Okay.
It was a funny visual, actually. Meowth was counting, and then suddenly there's a pile of Mareep on top of him. And that's part of an even funnier scene where Darkrai is putting Pikachu in a acid dream sequence where all the Pokemon and the humans are Pokemon talking.
Okay, so apparently Electric Sheep and pretty much every other animal dreams of a tiny island that has trees and a farm, a little house, and a pond. And that's all they dream about all the time, ever.
Wow, that sounds really boring.
Yeah. Turns out animals have shitty dreams. Go figure.
You're talking about the Pokemon Dream World, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay.
If there's a
What are you doing?
Pokemon game, there's a gimmick that they invented called the Dream. Yeah, Dream World was one of those. It's weird.
Patient, you were talking about Nora the...
Yes.
What the fuck? Author that came back from an extended hiatus.
Yeah. Mr. Red Apple, formerly known as Akano Aki. Last heard from on May 30th, 2015, and then all of a sudden posts an author's note on one of his stories. He's written 2 so far. One is Harry Potter and Bleach crossover, which I haven't read, and the other one is one that I marked as a story to follow years back because it looked promising, but it was it was long since dead. So I marked it as a follow back when it was still likely to update in the near future. But anyway, I'm just meaning to say the author posted an author's note on it earlier this month, and well, I haven't reread it yet, so I can't remember exactly how good it was, but over 1,000 favorites, so that's a sign of something good. So I'm going to post it here.
It's a sign that people like it, but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
I just remembered something. You know how I mentioned I've been using Twitter more?
Someone when
I'm sorry. I thought it was done. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just getting to the point, actually. Sorry for taking so long. Anyway, I should probably have reread this fic before I recommended it, but I'm going to recommend it anyway. It is a One Piece Peggy Sue called As a Girl. Take a wild guess as to what the premise is.
Oh, fair enough. Okay, Zero, you can
that cover.
I just wanted to mention, how I mentioned before. Oh yeah, I'm using Twitter more. Like the other day, somebody added me to like a Twitter list, like for fan fiction. And I have no idea what Twitter lists are, but I thought it was kind of cool.
Okay. I don't know what a Twitter list is either. The whole moments thing is confusing me too. I just don't get Twitter just in general.
I don't get it, but follow me at King0x.
Also, the whole sniping thing that has become prevalent of Twitter accounts that are literally just bots where they'll repost something that was getting popular, and
that's
because
weird.
they already have more followers, they just immediately take credit for it, even though they didn't make it.
And there's people who also, you can literally buy Twitter followers from bot farms. So, yeah, it's just as corrupt as you'd think it would be. Fun.
Yeah, it's one of those things we probably should have gotten into before it got incredibly, incredibly corrupt, but I still don't care, so I'm good. I tried briefly.
At least you tried.
Yeah. So my recommendation. I'm going to recommend.
Is this another grudging recommendation, Casey?
No, this is a genuine one. I was just trying to decide whether I should recommend the one I'm reading now, which I haven't finished, or one that I've already read, or the one that I started baiting. The one that I started baiting for isn't quite worthy of a recommendation yet. We'll see how it goes going forward. So the story I'm recommending is called Topple Your Kings. And it's a Code Geass and High School DxD crossover.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Code
pretty
Geass.
good. I don't remember what it's about.
What?
I mean, obviously, it's Lelouch dies, end of Code Geass, that's the plot, and
Code
gets
Geass.
reborn.
Let's not get into this, shall we?
Didn't you actually go through it and it was like, oh no, it's not spelled correctly, so it is Geass, but you're going to say it Geish anyways because Welsh?
Yeah, essentially. Well, Celtic,
Yeah,
technically.
we went through this before.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, he dies, comes back in DxD world because, of course.
DD. For fuck's sake, it is high school DD.
No,
you
it's
don't
High
pronounce
School
the
X.
Next you'll be calling it Hunter x Hunter.
No, that's also called X.
This is what happens when you miss a random episode.
Oh, that's a joke that was a week in the making. That's fun.
What?
The anime last week, the anime Reflux, it was XTV, but I looked up the actual title and it was just X.
Yeah, it was.
So-
It had TV on it to distinguish it from the film that they made. That was also called X. So I said the next time that Weasel tries to correct me on that DxD bollocks, then I'm just gonna say no, it's X.
Fuck you!
I don't think you're his type.
You can't see, but I'm flipping you off right now.
I'm far too proud of that joke for how good it actually was, but I'm okay with that.
Well, I actually made Casey Muttley.
Oh.
I have weird laughs.
You should like that one.
Yeah, I honestly don't remember that much about this fic, but it was good, and I enjoyed it, and, so that was cool. I don't think there's anything else to do this week.
And by the way, it's not XXX Holic or Triple X Holic, it's just Holic. I don't know what it is with Japan and their obsession with not pronouncing X.
I don't know what it's your obsession with Japan and reinforcing this not pronouncing X nonsense.
Wait, Japan doesn't like to pronounce X? So
Apparently,
does that make that show that we watched last week then just...
No, it's
you.
class.
I'm having way too much fun with this.
Fuck you, man! I'm flipping you off again!
You are not his type, Weasel.
So, yeah, I
One
guess we'll
more
call that an episode.
Okay. Screw you, man.
I'm so glad I came full circle. Alright. So, oh god. I just realized I'd completely forgotten about the whole Echo thing and just stopped paying attention to it. And of course, I ended up paying attention to it because of that, and now I'm distracted. So, I'd like to thank you for listening to the Fandom Flux Podcast episode 185. If you'd like to get in contact with us, you can do so through the YouTube channel through the comments. Please do it on Patreon if you feel so inclined. Once again, I'd like to thank you for listening to the Fandom Flux Podcast episode 185. Yeah!
Good job, Casey. Good job.
So
Thank
Casey just kind of pulled a Mr. Kool-Aid Man guy.
A little bit. I was proud.
Take care, everyone.
Yeah.
See ya.
Take care.